live.
Go ahead, Walker, bring us in.
Sure. All right. Well, welcome everybody to Echo Base X-Wing. Not mission debriefing. We're actually having I don't know what you want to call it. Echo Base X-Wing points results show. Sure, we could do this every time. But as always, I'm Walker Darko. With me are Jake Ream.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
And Kevin Lines.
What's up? I swear I won't get mad.
Corn got cheaper. Of course you're not going to get mad.
That's right. Party time.
Party.
Corn got cheaper. Miranda got cheaper. Everything's coming up, Kevin.
That's right. Except for Trick Shot.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, well.
and Sabine.
So we should probably just touch on what we're going to do as far as a format tonight. Like Walker was saying, not a commentary show, but we'll just touch on some of the things that have changed points, either up or down, and I guess quickly try to give a couple thoughts on what we think that's going to do to the meta, both maybe extended and hyperspace, and also field some questions from you guys in the chat with your thoughts and opinions on some of this stuff as well. Other than that, I think we should probably just go ahead and get into it, huh?
Yep, let's get started.
So we will start with the generic upgrades. That way, when we're talking about some of the faction ships, at least we have a baseline there with the generic stuff.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
So first on the list, let's just start from the top down. We're just going to touch on mostly the ones that changed. Maybe we'll tap on something that could have changed but didn't. But so R2 Astromech. So the regen droid with 2 charges went from 6 to 4. Probably accurate. It felt like 6 points was a little bit much to maybe gain 2 shields, which usually didn't always happen, at least with Luke. 33% difference, but I feel like 4 points is fine, right?
Yeah, I think
Well,
so.
without jumping too far, R2D2 went to 6, so they kind of moved together.
And I'm glad about that because R2D2, you almost never use the 3rd charge, again, at least with Luke. So making it cheaper just makes it easier to swallow and makes you maybe want to take it in case you do start to take more damage now that other things can't be used.
Yeah, I mean, and there was a significant increase in the downside to that from 1st edition to 2nd edition. Limited amount of regen available, and also having to take that weapons disabled. So seems, yeah, could have went down. I don't think it was seen all that much for extended.
Nope. And R5, which is more or less a form of regen, but not quite as good as the shield regen. It's just a repair face down damage card. Went down by 1 point from 5 to 4. It seems in line with what they're doing. I think the issue they had was nobody was really using these cards except for Luke. And they maybe wanted to try to make it so that other ships that could potentially like survive the joust, go repair themselves or regen a little bit and come back besides Luke would maybe have more opportunity. So this might help see some play. I really don't have an issue with any of these changes so far.
Yeah,
I
think you're right. I think
No, not yet.
Those things just weren't seeing play, and you just have to slowly drop the points until they possibly become viable.
Yep. All right. So next on the list is cannons. I want to point out, I think it's accurate that they left HLC and Ion where they are, because I think if you play with those costs as in to make them go lower, they might be a little too good. Because, I mean, we're finding now with HLC that it's real good on Poe. And Ion Cannon getting a little bit cheaper could make for a lot of control potential lists, which could get bad, but
Poe
I think
wouldn't
it's
like
okay
that.
leaving them. Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
So jamming beam dropped from 2 to 0. I only have one issue with this. Otherwise, I think this is fine. And that is I don't like the Upsilons getting jamming for free, which almost gives them a range 3 jam instead of range 1, but they're not shooting, I guess. So
Yeah, I
Right,
was
the
going to say,
damage
I'm
is
going to
gone.
disagree there. I think they should just have jamming beam stapled to them. I think that's the right way to go. So then you're not shooting with those 4 red dice. Perfectly
Yeah,
fine.
and that's the other thing about jamming beam is you're giving up all of your dice.
you are.
Yep.
So making it
I
cost
just-
points does kind of, I mean, because it already does punish you. It costs you in that you give up all your dice.
Hmm.
Right.
You give up
I
your
just- I
damage.
get-
That's your
I
cost.
get worried when you see free upgrade cards. That's my only concern.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know, the other thing.
Then you're gonna love Supernatural when we get to it.
The other thing that these cannons do go on is the IGs. Anything interesting there with jamming beam? I mean,
Well, so yeah, I mean, with the IGs, that does actually open it up. You could jam with one. Yeah, you're foregoing a shot, but maybe you need to play defense or something from like a lower initiative ship and take a target lock off of somebody, or you want to help set them up. I mean, it's just a free, you never know when you might need it style card.
yeah.
I could see some potential, especially now that you could slap. We'll get to this later, but you could slap 3 IGs on the board at the same time with all jamming.
One jams and 2 still shoot.
Yeah, that's
They
interesting.
all have titles. So
Yep.
Tractor beam went from 3 to 2. I really don't have any issues with this. I hate how tractor beam works, but I don't think it's not a problem to drop it to 2 points. I don't think.
no, because the stuff that's been running it has gone up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Except for the IDs, right?
And
Because those all went down.
Right, but like the tractor, the tugs.
yeah. Well, and the same thing with jamming beam is in order to tractor beam, you're giving up doing any damage. I mean, there's still potential damage with follow-up shots from different ships, but
And rocks.
and rocks, yeah, that is true. But that's still a random chance. So to
Yeah.
lower the points on those cannons that aren't doing any damage, I think that's okay.
Sure. So now we'll move to crew. I think. So 2 notes. I have 2 notes on the section of crew. One, Perceptive Copilot went from 10 to 8. I actually thought that would go from 10 to 12. So I'm surprised it went down and not up.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that too because I was expecting it to go up as well, mostly because of what we were seeing the Scum faction do with it. But
Yep. Well, and we know, like, we heard the devs say, hey, we're going to try to bring turrets, like big base turrets, back into the game. And I'm going to guess big base turrets would love to have some extra focus tokens. So my thought is, okay, if you're bringing the cost and those down, they're going to want to take Perceptive Copilot. You're going to maybe want to balance it out a little bit by making that go up. But nope, they're going to also bring that down.
yeah,
And then the other note I had was TAC Officer didn't go up. What? I thought for sure that would be a 3 or 4 point card instead of 2.
yeah. But I think that also gets into something that when we'll touch on it later with the ships is I think most of the coordinating ships went up, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so.
I
I mean, I don't think
so.
the idea is that you don't want to like be too heavy-handed, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe that's showing us the design philosophy. Maybe they're choosing to adjust the chassis instead of the cards, the upgrade cards.
Hmm.
Or maybe they really want TAC Officer for the Republic.
Yeah, that's also, I mean, we don't know. That's possible.
Yeah. It is interesting that it didn't go up though, because I think we were seeing some very cheap coordinating ships just always using tactical officer. It was just stapled onto the escape craft and well, a few of the other ones.
Next on the list is devices, so all the bombs and stuff. Nothing changed. I think that's probably fine, right? Bombs feel like they're probably about where they should be. Exclude Trajectory Simulator in the equation.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if they really get used much without trajectory. I mean, in the current state of things.
Yeah.
You don't have like a Control Miranda flying around like you did in first edition.
Never heard of her, huh?
No.
No.
It's okay. Some scrub took it to Worlds.
Yep.
He got annoyed by it and quit.
So after that, we'll go to force powers.
Yep. We got force next.
Nothing there.
Nothing to
Moving
see
on.
here.
Yep.
Nothing to see here. We'll just move
Moving.
along. Supernatural may or may not have been removed from the game for any high pilot skill.
Is
Ships.
that a rip rip supernatural reflexes.
Yeah. Yeah.
She gone.
I mean, I
Pretty
think
much pour this out for anybody that's not
mean-
like.
Are we gonna get some initiative 1 and 2 force users?
What are the? They've revealed a couple of the Jedi generics. Do they start? I don't think they start at 1. Do they?
I don't recall what the Jedi Starfighters were, but I mean that's also, we're kind of getting into future releases. And,
Yeah.
Right, but you have to think that they're taking that into account because when's the next points adjustment and when does the release happen?
Yeah,
The
no,
next one's probably July, I think, right?
should be, yeah, if it's 6
Yeah.
months from now. And you're right, they are looking at, they know what's coming out. They probably already have those points, almost completely nailed down.
Yep.
But my God, 32 points.
Yeah, like pour one out for Vader because that's gone.
I mean, he wasn't even, unfortunately, you didn't see Vader anyway. And now, what do you put on Vader?
Hate.
I mean, obviously FFG hates Supernatural.
Yeah, they do. I mean, so Supernatural was really good.
Sure, rightfully so. I mean, and it did need a points increase, I think. 12 points,
Yes.
while expensive, I do think it probably needed, maybe a 5 to 7 point increase.
I've been saying 32 top to bottom for months
Top to
now.
bottom, yeah. Oh my God.
So if anything, I think this was just light-handed.
Right, but I do want to point out the scaling that they did is good. I think this is a good sign where they did it based on initiative because that's really where the value of Supernatural came into play.
Yep.
So the fact that they're showing that they're
Yes.
cognizant of that is a good sign.
Yep.
future.
Chat is pointing out that Luke, I guess a Supernatural Luke is right around 89 points now, and the Super Vader went up 5 points in total. That seems heavy. I mean, it's only 5 points more than what he was previously, but we never saw him in the game. He just was non-existent.
We also didn't see a lot of hyperspace before though either. Everybody was running phantoms and crap.
Yeah, but
So
in the
we
events,
might see him.
in the events that have been hyperspace. Was he around? I mean, not for us, not locally. I didn't ever see anybody play Vader.
Pretty much all the Imperial players just say that the Empire doesn't exist anymore because they don't want to be creative. But there are a couple people that are actually trying to figure out that puzzle.
Yeah.
But most of the Imperial players were ace players, and they're all just like, well, this is done.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't think that's true. I just think it's going to have to be different.
Yeah, a lot different.
I think we tried Vader early, but it was just tough to make him. I don't know. Imperials were just tough to run when you could just spam bombers or punishers.
Or you could just put Soontir on the board and be like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know
All right.
early on I tried to run Vader for a little while, but the problem was, what do you put in the rest of the list? Because he was already fairly expensive. So,
Right.
anyway.
All right, so next on the list is the gunner slots. Agile Gunner went from 10 to 8. Honestly, I'm totally fine with this. Agile Gunner saw no play. It happens at the end phase, so it gives you information as your opponent for counterplay. I'm okay with this.
Yeah, 10 I think was a little steep to begin with. We might see it now, but
We might. It takes up a valuable slot. That's the other issue. It
Ye-
has some competition.
it does, and I think that's probably more why we never saw it anyway. I don't think the points cost was really prohibitive enough, but
Sure.
I mean now
But, you
at
know,
least going down a
It's
little.
Star Fortress.
Yeah, going down a little, at least it makes it an option, right?
Right. Veteran turret gunner. I'm probably okay with it because you have to be 180 degrees, right? This only works with the bow ties. Doesn't it?
Yeah,
I don't
isn't
remember.
that the one that goes with the First Order, the SFs?
No.
Actually,
veteran
from
turret
primary
gunner is-
attack.
Yeah, you can perform a bonus attack using Yeah, if you did not already attack from this.
So this will get used on the Star Fortresses for sure.
Right.
It might get used with like the YTs, but it's much harder to use. I'm fine with this because this card is harder to use and your opponent has counterplay against it. So I think it going from 8 to 6 is also fine.
Mm-hmm. Chat. One of the guys in chat said that 4 Y-wings, ion turret, and veteran turret gunner.
You can try it.
Yeah, I mean, it's got control. It just doesn't have damage output.
Yeah, I mean it. Sure, maybe it'll work. So the way this is worded, you may perform a bonus attack using the turret indicator. Does that mean if you BTLA forward them, like the old first edition where you pointed it forward, could you just shoot and then shoot again out the front because
Yes.
it's using the turret?
Yes.
Okay. No, I don't hate this at all then. This is actually not bad for Y-Wings. That's a good call.
Humpty Dumpty says just run 5 with ion and veteran turret on 4 of them. Or just
Sure.
ions and protons.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
this could-
the thing is the lowest Y-wing in both Scum and Rebel is 31 points now.
This could really help Y-Wings. I didn't think about that at all when I initially looked at this. Good call.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps them, and they were struggling.
They need it bad.
Yep.
Super bad.
All
All right.
Any-
Illicits.
Yep. Let's
Nothing.
go on.
Nothing changed in illicits, it looks like. I think I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was anything that was like abusive.
I mean, we saw some rigged cargo shoot, but I don't think it was ever a problem. You know.
Yeah. It was helpful for Han, but the sloop and poop is what pushed Rig Cargo Shoot into holy crap range.
Yeah.
But that was first edition.
Yep.
All right. Missiles. We see the barrage rockets go from 6 to 7. Yes. I expected maybe 8, but 7 is fine.
Probably just being
6 was
light-handed
awesome.
with it, just to make
Yeah.
sure that, you know, because that was which Imperial ship was it that we were seeing those on?
Bomber.
The bomber. Yeah. Make sure that the bomber
K-wings
at
as
least
well.
still has the ability to use them, but not be crazy expensive.
Yep. Homing missiles, I'm a little surprised to see it went up from 3 to 5. I guess, I don't know, my consensus is for missiles or single slot missiles. Most of them are kind of meh. So I'm surprised that the one that people were kind of using went up by 67% instead of like maybe 1 point if they were really going to make it go up.
Well, and I'm fighting in my head of FFG does things randomly, like they just roll a dice, like hot AC, and pick their points. But
So I
also
think
the idea of that maybe there's a way to spam homing missiles with something
Yeah.
that's coming out, you know, with the droids or something, and they just want to catch it now before we get to that.
I think it's a combination of possibly the droids. I think it's a combination of probably some of your lower, like A-wings, your missile carriers, maybe going down in cost, and they were worried about the spam, so they were trying to maybe offset it. That's my only guess. So it probably makes sense. I just didn't expect it.
Humpty Dumpty in the chat says pre-nerf on Z-Swarms. I mean, was Blair ever running homing missiles on his Z-Swarm?
He was running crack shot on him, right, or at
Okay.
least at Coruscant.
So you'd have to reduce the number of Z95s to be able to put some homing missiles on, maybe.
Who knows? I mean, we'll see. We don't. Walker might be right. There might be something with the Separatists that really.
But I feel like I'm just
Yeah.
giving them credit where there wasn't credit. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like assuming there's something, and then it'll all come out. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
never mind.
All right.
Humpty also asks about maybe they increase the points on homing missiles because of the A-wings getting the extra EPT or the talent slot. If
maybe
there was something
but
there that they could do, maybe.
maybe that I've thought of. At least that I've thought of. Not yet.
Yeah.
So we'll look at
Okay.
mods. Ablative plating or ablative plating to ignore bombs went from 4 to 6. Uh, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, because of what happened to Trajectory, I don't know that this is necessary, but okay, sure, I guess.
No, just kill bombs. Get rid of them. Perfectly fine
I
with
guess
that.
I have no opinion on this one, so I guess I don't care.
What did we see ablative plating used on mostly? The Star Fortress.
We saw it used on your favorite movie ship called Redline.
Yeah.
But we'll now see it on the Star Fortresses. Probably is the only ship that's going to use it.
Yeah. I can't think of anything else that would. I mean, especially
because it has to be a medium or a large size ship. I think too. It can't be a small ship. I don't see anything else either. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next one is Afterburners went from 8 to 6. So I still think Afterburners is a good card. This just made it even better.
Yeah.
I definitely think we're going to see a big uptick in Afterburners.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
At 6 points, definitely. I mean, it's an extra action twice a game. And
and you can do it while you're stressed, which makes
yep,
that interesting too.
absolutely. I mean, I was even toying with it for a while at 8 points, and 8 was probably a little expensive, but it's still, for the moments that you really needed it, it was worth it.
Yep.
So
I think that,
now for 6 points, yeah, like it definitely opens up that mod slot and makes it more useful.
Let's put it this way: I don't think Afterburners will ever go below 6 points. Ever.
Is there something you want to put on there? Like you'll eat your mouse pad, or
I don't want to pull a bun.
any wagers we want to put on that?
No wagers yet.
Rumpapopum's asking if Afterburners is potentially a supernatural replacement.
No, because Supernatural was before, and it lets you do so many things. But it could, those points that were used, like, yes, I could see Luke dropping Supernatural and maybe switching to Afterburners as like a Supernatural light. Sure.
Well, and the nice thing, if you look at that on the T65 chassis, is you could just run with your S-foils open and then still be able to boost twice. And then if you really needed to boost more than that, you close the S-foils, and then you have the you can do that again. But yeah, could be interesting.
Let's see. Engine went down, which they kept the scaling based on the size, which is good because that would have been bad. I think that's fine. Engine was really expensive, and now it's probably more appropriately costed.
Going back to Afterburners for just a second, chat saying advanced sensors plus Afterburners instead of Supernatural.
You could, but most ships don't have those slots that used to just use Supernatural. Like Luke can't take advanced sensors. Corrin could.
But doesn't Afterburners say after you execute a, isn't it, certain speed maneuver?
Give me a second. I'll pull it up. Where's Afterburners? Oh, they already adjusted the pricing here. It says after you fully execute the speed, you may perform this even while stressed. It doesn't say it's during the action phase. In advanced sensors says you skip the action phase, so I think you can do this still with advanced sensors.
But is Afterburners similar to Slam, where Slam has to be performed after a maneuver? Isn't Afterburners also say that?
Give me 1 second. I'm pretty sure Slam is just an action that you execute a maneuver,
right?
Not that it has to be performed after a maneuver.
But so on Poe, when you're using Black 1, if you're going to use the slam from Black 1, you have to slam as your first action after executing a maneuver.
That's because of Poe's ability. His ability says you may perform a action on your action, or a white act.
No,
it's me pull this stuff up.
You should pull it up because it's a rule with Slam. Slam has to be performed immediately after a maneuver. It's not due to Poe's ability. If you go either
Okay.
to the rules reference or the forum post for the rules FAQs, it references slam, and you have to
Okay.
execute it after a maneuver. And if that's the case with afterburners, if it has to be after you execute a 3 to 5 speed maneuver, then you're not going to be able to advance sensors afterburners because you have not performed the maneuver yet.
Okay.
At least
All right.
that's the way I would see it. Carlo, are you in the chat? Could you give us a rules clarification on that? Anyway, so back to where were we at?
Engine. We're at
Engine.
engine.
Okay.
Do you guys agree that this is probably correct with engine?
Yeah, we weren't really seeing it that much.
We'd see it on Hawks here and there to make it not red.
Yeah.
We weren't seeing big base ships, so you just flat out weren't seeing it. I think you're going to see this much more on the bigger base ships.
I know when I was flying the Falcon a couple of times, I would not put engine on it and just accept the stress.
Yep.
And now maybe just because, for 7 points, it's possible.
It
But
helps Hawks, I think, the most.
yeah. And it's good that the sliding scale is still there. I like that a lot. I hope we see that even more.
Munitions failsafe went from 2 to 1. Sure. Seems fine.
I mean, it should be 0. Honestly, I think.
No.
Why? It takes up a mod slot, and you have to cancel all the dice results in order to gain that charge back. So you're never doing
Because-
any damage, and you're losing your mod slot.
So if stuff costs 0 points, then what decision is there really to be made?
Well, the decision
I
is
really don't like free upgrade cards ever.
okay, but the decision is there first of all, am I running anything with munitions? So do you have torpedoes, missiles? And if you do, okay, then munitions failsafe becomes an option unless there's a different mod that is better for you. Right now, there's probably not enough mods to really have a lot of competition there, but I just think because you have to cancel all of your dice results.
But if zero, okay, so if list building is about making interesting decisions and stuff costs 0, then are you really making an interesting decision? You basically just have extra torpedoes if you have a bad roll for free.
Well, when protons are 12 points, I'm okay with a free munitions failsafe. Yeah, I know. I get what you're saying. And yeah, but 1 point is like almost free.
Right. Do I think it's still going to get used? Probably not, but I'm fine with the change, sure.
Yeah.
Static discharge vanes, the one where you can take, when you're range 0, not range 1 anymore, you can take a damage and an ion. They probably did this because 3 or 4, I think you could you fit 4 of the YTs with discharge on them before? In a list with trick shot? I think that was what D was talking about for a while.
I guess I never looked into that.
I'm okay with it because static discharge on a large base ship is silly.
Oh, you're talking about the Scum YT.
Yeah,
1300s.
for the Scum YTs, all with static discharge and all with trick shot, I think.
Chat
So,
sending a message directly to you, Kevin. Saying suck it, Poe. Protons for all. Suck it, Poe.
Yeah, no. Fun trying to target lock my Poe. You can enjoy that stress. Sensor slot. Advanced sensors went from 8 to 10. Yes.
Definitely.
Advanced sensors is silly. I don't know. Do you have any more on that one? I don't have anything more on it.
No, I think that absolutely needed to go up. Walker, what about you?
No, for sure. I've already looked a little bit ahead, and I'm kind of happy FCS went down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just because
Well,
FCS is not what it was.
Right.
No, and it was too expensive at 3. At 2, I think it feels more like a Predator. Like that's probably
Right,
more
you got
accurately
that one
costed.
dice.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
So
that
we
is
jumped ahead to fire control.
yeah.
Right.
So back to collision detector.
Yep. Collision detector went from 5 to 6. Yeah. I mean, I would have been fine if this would have been 8.
I was gonna say 8 too. Yeah. Especially for
Yeah.
those triple upsilons.
Ugh. Or phantoms. Like it was so useful for phantoms.
Mm-hmm. And
So I'm fine with that.
I mean, this still 1 point increase. What were the phantoms like? If you were running them in mass, what were you running for a point total?
Well, before it was just the 4 juke phantoms before.
Okay.
The collision detector was only used by Whisper or Echo.
So
At least that I ever saw.
does 1 point make a difference for the way Whisper and Echo were being flown?
Probably not, but points add up.
Yeah, sure. I mean, and again, it's probably just a soft touch, you know. Turn the dial just a little bit on the points, see where it lands, because even that, you know, what are we seeing in hyperspace for a ship that carries collision detector?
U-wings,
Upsilons.
Upsilons, that's all I can think of.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We can move
Yep.
on. Trajectory simulator, kill that thing, make it burn. It went from 3 to 10, a 233% increase. I would have been fine with the 500% increase. Yeah, get that thing out of the game.
Yeah. I don't understand. This is kind of rolling back to the end of first edition and making the transition into second edition. With as terrible as it was for first edition when it came out, why did they even put it in second edition?
Yeah, so many things didn't survive the jump.
Yeah, and this did for why? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yes. I'm fine with that thing being gone. Composure going from 2 to 1. Sure. I don't think I've ever seen it used before, so
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yep. Debris Gambit. 2 to 3.
So talents, Debris Gambit went from 2 to 3. Yeah, Debris Gambit was really good. It probably should be a 3-point talent. Let's see. Juke went up to 5 instead of 4, and so did Lone Wolf.
Yep.
I mean, Juke definitely needed to go up just to help control the quad phantom situation. Lone Wolf, I really didn't see that much Lone Wolf, so I don't quite have an opinion yet.
Yeah, I don't know if Lone Wolf needed to go up. Just with the single charge on Lone Wolf for each turn.
Yeah, I don't know. Squad leader. So they redesigned squad leader just like they did Supernatural to be based on initiative, which is the correct way to do this card's costing. So now you're paying a heavy premium as you start to go up. I think that's probably the right way to handle it. I think squad leader would be cool as a alternative to a coordinator on a normal lower initiative ship, on a really high initiative ship, as we saw at the end of first edition, and what we saw with Null for a while was some of the silly shenanigans at ridiculously high initiatives. A little bit of tear comes to my eye when I see Trickshot go from 1 to 2. I knew it was going to happen. It's the right decision, but it still makes me a little sad.
I mean, it's only 100% more. That's fine.
Right.
It probably 3 might have been a little much, but
yeah, I think it's let's move it to 2. Let's see how it does.
Yep.
If it's out of control, we'll make it 3, but I don't know that they'll make it 3. We'll see.
Yeah. Going on to tech.
Yeah, primed thrusters got the old initiative rework, which is probably again the right way to do it because it's way more valuable the higher your initiative, as you're aware of.
Yep.
With your POA using it.
Yeah, absolutely. And combo that with the BB-8 on Poe, and Yeah, it's worth. I still will pay 10 points for it.
I won't.
Yeah, well. How many people are going to be using proton torpedoes now that they're 12 points?
I think they'll still use it.
Well, maybe
so-
just not spamming it anymore.
Targeting synchronizer, the one that lets you use somebody else's lock, went up from 5 to 6. Probably some kind of a security measure, maybe for future release. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just haven't seen it used in second edition yet.
I haven't either.
Proton torpedoes moves from 9 to 12. Accurate, yes, because you get 2 charges.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly, dorsal went from 4 to 2. Probably a correct decision. But that's really, 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 really cheap. So now I feel like every Y-wing you're going to see a dorsal turret on as like a minimum,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
which is probably fine, right? They needed help.
Yeah.
Dorsal turret's the same cost as trick shot.
Yep. And ion cannon turret went from 6 to 4. Sure, I really wasn't seeing ion turrets like ever.
No.
So much ion control on Poe. Just you wait. Poe's gonna hate it.
Okay, so
So-
what do we want to do next tab?
Probably go to. Should we just go to Rebels? Work our way down there.
Let's do
Start
it.
with the big stuff, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go. All right. Starting with the B-wing.
All right, so Braylon went from 50 to 47, down by 3 points.
You know what? I'm gonna stop you there for a second. I think we
Sure.
can group the B-wings all together.
Yeah,
in
broad
that-
stroke.
they-
B-wings went down.
Okay.
They went down.
All the B wings.
Yep. They needed to
Yep.
go down.
And they
were a
brought the
little
name
expensive.
pilots closer to the generics.
Makes sense. Yep.
Let's
I
get
like
those
that.
on the table.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we could touch on every single one, but they all went down. It's good. They were a little
And Sabine?
expensive.
Sabine went up by 4. She's the only one
Which-
that I'm surprised actually the other shuttles didn't go down like a little bit.
But Sabine, just her ability is so good.
Right, I'm fine with the change to Sabine.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
that good. She deserved an increase, but I'm just surprised like Hera didn't go down a little bit. Or
Yeah.
Ezra just like a little bit. But okay, whatever.
I mean, so she could have. Well, she went up by 4, right? And
Yeah.
isn't 4 the exact amount of supernatural reflexes on an Initiative 3 ship?
I guess I'd have to look. Probably.
I'm
Yeah, I think
gonna
it was like
jump
4,
back.
4, 4, 12, 24, 32 or something
Yeah.
like that.
So
Oh,
1, 2,
that
and
makes
3.
sense then.
Yep. I
How
just want
dare
to point that
FFG
out.
use
So
logic and reasoning.
I
Wait,
know.
4,
I'm sorry.
4, 4, 4, 8, 16, 24, 32. Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
So because she does have supernatural, let's call a spade a spade.
Yep.
Um.
The Y wings, all of them went down.
Yep.
Even Nora, but only one for Nora. That seems right. They all need help, so yes, I'm okay with all of that.
Yeah. The 3 K-wings all went down. Yay!
Miranda got cheaper.
Are we still gonna see her?
Let's go right after K-Wing. E-Wings.
Yeah.
Yay! Start the party.
I thought Kevin was about to do an It's Happening Ron Paul.
Well, I mean, I got my corn back here. I'm ready. I'm ready
You
to
gonna
maybe
crack open
eventually.
Crack open the case.
I mean, yeah, he went down by 10 points when he's combined with R2D2, so I can maybe play him now. Maybe.
Yeah. And the E-wings were expensive. They needed to go down.
Yep, they might be secretly really good now. We'll find out though.
Like they said in Hot AC, there was no way they could keep him in the game and not have him be completely broken. So
Yep.
Yep. Hawks.
All the Hawks. Whew.
I feel like that's
especially
correct.
Rourke.
Yeah.
I feel
Rourke
like
was
that's
a
correct.
little undercosted.
And that's a specific list.
Mm-hmm. Which
That's
just got
Rourke.
smashed.
Yeah, Rourke Dash.
But I think they're all probably warranted.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny to say
A-wings.
that the Hawks warranted a points increase after what they were like in first edition.
It is
Right.
weird. I agree. A-Wings, except for the lowest one, all went down in cost, and they all gained a talent, so now they feel a lot like the RZ2s as far as their action
Yep.
bar.
Is Jake an ace again?
No, he sure isn't.
Oh, okay.
I'm fine with all of it. I think the A-Wings definitely need the 2 talents. I think that's a really good idea that they started in first edition.
Mm-hmm.
And these A-Wings are just not as good as the Resistance ones, so they need some help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheathipede. So Zeb and AP5 went up.
2 points
sure.
each. Yep, definitely.
Those were the little coordinating carriers, weren't they?
Yeah, yeah. You pretty much just used them for that. I mean, Fenn. I think Fenn maybe could have come down a little bit from 52. He didn't change anything, but I think maybe he could have because
I think he's still expensive as heck.
He seems really expensive. But for right now, they felt like he didn't need to change. So moving on.
Ghost Fenn ruined him.
Yeah.
It did. Well, Fenn Lowrick Corn was also a big deal.
Yeah.
Sabine went up a little bit for the TIE Fighter. I still don't think she's going to see play, but sure. To keep it in line with the supernatural changes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think that should be fine.
I think she's just better in the attack shuttle, and that's why you don't see.
Move my cat.
That's why you don't see her in the TIE Fighter.
Yeah, I'm surprised the U-Wings didn't change just like a little bit. But okay.
Chat says we're still not over Ghost Fenn. That is correct. There's
Yeah.
still people that have nightmares about that.
Well, to go with your nightmares, all the VCXs went down in cost, and they got sensors bars back.
Yeah, but they weren't being played at all.
No, they were pretty garbage before, and now they're less garbage. I don't know what they are now.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I'm happy that they went down because I always liked not Ghost Fenn, but I like Kanan just as a. I liked his ability. I always thought his ability was pretty interesting, but they needed to come down. I think just they weren't even seeing the table. So my gripe still with VCX is they lost me when they took away the rear torpedo. Yeah,
that was the one reason I loved playing that ship, and now I just meh.
Yep. Yeah, I liked it too. It was a very interesting mechanic when they first came out with it.
All right, so the YT 1300 got a massive cost reduction.
Mm-hmm. Han went
arguably too much on Han and Lando, but we'll see.
Yeah, 10 and 12 points respectively. That's a big change.
That's a massive change. That is a really cheap Lando.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you go and compare it to its cousin, the YT 2400, that only saw 2 points on Dash, but did see 10 points on Lebo.
Yeah, but they ripped the crew off him, so you can't abuse the C-3PO mechanic with Lebo.
Yeah,
which is a good decision.
Yes.
And then the Wild Space Fringer, yeah. We'll see. I mean, now that the stupid double tap Dash got taken away, we'll see if Dash actually can fit into the game in a normal way.
Yeah, 2 points doesn't seem like enough to make him fit into the game. I mean, that's crazy expensive when you're probably going to still be stapling trick shot to him, so you're right back to 100, and then the title, so you're at 114. I mean,
I do like to see that Lebo loses the crew, but also gets the 10-point reduction that they actually like made up for losing the crew in a way. I mean, you're still not going to see much for Lebo. I say that until he wins like the European Championship again, but
I doubt it, but yeah. So we already kind of glanced over R2D2 going from 8 to 6. Yeah, that's fine. And we already kind of glanced over R5D8, the repair. Wait, is that the repair droid?
I think it is because the R5 Astromech is the other repair. It's the generic repair. So then R5D8 is, I think.
Yeah, it's the repair face down damage card.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or repair face up ship damage. But yeah.
So crew, Chopper went from 2 to 1. That's fine. I don't see Chopper like ever.
Yeah, not anymore.
Baze went from 8 to 3. I think that's right because there's a lot of downside with bays, but I do like that they now made him a usable card.
Mm-hmm.
C3PO, they were willing to come back down off of their panic and make him only 8 points. Probably more accurate. He was never literally played because he was too expensive.
Well, too expensive, and they took away the ability to call 0.
Yeah.
So I think it could have come down maybe a couple more points.
Yeah.
Just because
maybe.
now there really is a gamble with it. You know, you know. You
He
have
does
to
give
think
the
about
coordinate
those
stuff,
odds. Yeah, okay.
Or not the coordinate, the calculate.
Yeah, and he does the double calculate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there is a benefit, yeah. Chewbacca went from 5 to 4. Sure. He's gonna maybe be used to help make ships live longer now again. Maybe.
Well, when you couple that points reduction with what they took off of most of the YT 1300s, we could see some tanky Falcons on the table again.
Yeah, we could. That could be bad if you remember what that used to be like.
Mm-hmm. Just pointing it out.
Kanan went from 14 to 12. Probably okay. I think Kanan is sneaky good.
I would agree. I like Kanan crew. Unfortunately, you know, with most of the upcoming seasons events being hyperspace, we're not going to see him played. Except for at like system opens that have the extended stuff. But I agree. I think he's really good, and I think he was good at 14. Now it's even better.
So I kind of want to group Lando and Leia together because they were both good cards, but they both cost too much. And I think they saw what happened at Coruscant and were like, okay, so Leia's really useful, but not at 8 points.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they know that Lando's really useful, but not so much at 5. Like, it's kind of too expensive. But now I feel like you're going to see Lando or Leia used in a lot of Rebel lists.
Yeah. Well, and especially if you look at putting Lando on Han. So not only did Han lose 10 points, then Lando went down 3. And you'll be able to use Han's ability on Lando to re-roll those dice.
Yeah, I think you're going to see Lando on every Han build.
Lando Chewie?
I think you're going to see Lando R2-D2.
Okay.
Lando's got a thing for robots.
He does.
Magva goes from 7 to 8. Probably right. That's actually a sneaky good card. Giving you that target lock if you get shot at and you have lower initiative, which a lot of the Rebel players will have lower initiative, so that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Maul going from 13 to 11, yeah, that seems fine. There's a lot of list restrictions with Maul, especially from the Rebels' perspective.
Yep.
And you don't ever see him, so it seems fine. You can play with that knob. Han went from 12 to 14.
To Gunners, yeah.
I mean, he is kind of good.
He's really good. I mean, now that they got rid of the double tap with dash, he's slightly less good, but still to be able to slap on a gunner and just shoot first, that was always an option, I guess.
The next one that chat's just talking about too is Luke is now 26 points instead of 30. Luke, I think, might actually see competitive play at 26 points.
Whew. That still seems hefty, though.
I mean, it is hefty, but he might see play now. Whereas before, he did not see play unless people were trying to screw with the over-under of the crates.
It was, the meme. Playing Luke for the memes. Boldy Crow
goes from 12 to 18 because it should. That card was
really good.
Auto include.
Yep. That's it for Rebels. Yeah, so moving on to Empire. Start with Alpha Class. Wholesale went down for every single one of them.
I think I've only seen like one ever played.
Yep.
So probably a good thing.
TIE Advanced V1. Same thing. Every one of them went down.
Again, I've only seen him played once. I saw the Inquisitor on the board at Coruscant. That was it.
We can say the same for the X1 as well.
Oh, actually, we should stop on this too because we're about to talk on Vader.
Yep.
Supernatural was really huge on the Inquisitor because he could link and get a bunch of tokens and stuff. So that Supernatural change is really going to screw with the Inquisitor as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just another note.
Yes, it's 24 on the Inquisitor. He's Initiative 5, right?
Yep.
Okay, so X1, the big one, Vader going down 5.
Yeah, after losing Supernatural, you got to give him some kind of a discount, right?
Yeah. Agreed. Probably not much more to say there.
Nope.
TIE Punisher.
I don't feel bad at all.
Did we
These
see this
numbers
coming?
seem good. I mean, I'm actually surprised Death Rain didn't go up a little bit more, only 2. Like, I thought he'd go up like 4, but sure.
Yeah. I mean, the Minox, I think, weren't they the ones that were talking about, like, you use Redline because, like, you understand that what Redline could do was good, and then you use Death Rain because you're good at making the Punisher do what Redline did?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And I suppose they didn't probably have to increase Death Rain as much because he is so tied to trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I am super fine with these great movie ships going up in cost.
The favorite movie ships, right?
That's right. I was a little surprised to see all the Defenders go down by 2. I'm not against it. I was just.
I will put myself in the category of not surprised. As
Yeah.
someone who tried to fly Defenders and tried to make them work, they felt. The feeling I'm going to give is just the feeling I had with Guri in first edition when I first came out. I tried and tried and tried, and it just felt close to good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how I felt with the
Do you
Defenders.
think the 2 points is enough, though? I know they have to
No.
be very
I
careful.
don't. I think they're just afraid of doing a pendulum effect where all of a sudden, and now it's
Yeah.
just Defenders. Ah, crap.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I think they're afraid of it too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and you do need to worry about that because if you can, even if you could fit 3 of them with like maybe 2 of them being either the Delta or Onyx, like that can be really scary with what they can do.
Yep.
Yep.
So yeah,
And then
going
so
down.
Whisper goes up, Imdar goes down 1, but the biggest part, crew removed from all of them, and Gunner is added to all of them. So no more Phantom Vader.
Yay!
Claps for everyone.
Yay!
The oppression is over.
Well, and it was mostly the cloak and choke, right? Like that was the problem. The fact that you could juke or have juke and Vader on Whisper, that was the issue.
Mm-hmm.
But what are we going to have now? Because if we're not going to have Sloop and Poop, and we're not going to have Cloak and Choke, I'm going to need something that sounds vaguely like masturbation, but still is a game term.
I'm sure you're creative enough, Walker, that you'll find something. But
Yeah,
please don't tell us.
Oh, you'll find out. Trust me. Or you'll hear it over the background on stream someday.
I'm worried about that. I really am.
So next up, all the bombers went up, which is probably accurate. I feel like their chassis was just too cheap.
Oh,
what it
for
did.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
We had a guy locally who ran like, 4 named ones plus a generic and still had room for everything he wanted.
Yeah.
So just in line.
Did you see Chat Walker?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So just in line with the other big turrets, the Decimator went down in costs. Probably needed. I mean, I'm okay if I never see another Decimator the rest of my life after having to deal with Rack Kylo, but
Yeah, but we're not ever going to see Rat Kylo again, so...
it doesn't mean I'm not scarred.
Okay.
But yes, these changes are probably needed because I never saw a Decimator.
Yep.
They want the turrets back, they said.
Yep.
Yeah, fun and interesting decisions now.
Apparently, when we all said we didn't like first edition turrets, what we really meant was we liked them and we wanted to see more of them.
We
Yes.
needed time to appreciate them.
Yes. They were put on a timeout. Now they're being brought back.
000 accurately getting increased to 5 points. It
Yep.
was way too cheap for how good it was.
Even though it only works on Vader lists?
Yes, as long as Vader's in the list or it's scum.
Right.
So the Grand Inquisitor goes down. I had never seen him played, so sure. I had never seen Tarkin played either.
I don't even know what Tarkin does. I assumed he was epic only, but cool.
Chat's pointing out that Sloan didn't change.
Yeah, I see.
No,
that.
but wasn't Sloan being put on Phantoms?
Yes, she was being put on Phantom. She was being put on Whisper specifically.
Right, and now that can't happen. So,
So probably
that's a good
why we
point.
didn't see a Sloan change.
right.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
We get to see. Let's see. Moff goes down a little bit. Seven Sister goes down.
And then the buddy comes back.
Seven Sister could see some serious play. I know she's not hyperspace legal, is she?
Let me switch
I don't
over. Let me change screens here quick, and I can check.
I'll let you
But
check.
just
I
to
don't know if she is, but in extended, like she could be really good on like Echo. Wait, she's a crew. You can't do that anymore. Never mind.
Well, and just to take a step past that one before we get back to it, Pelp going down is probably why we didn't see a change in the Reapers. Because I kind of wondered why Reapers, you don't really see them as much. They aren't really that effective. But if Pelp gets cheaper,
Are you talking about besides Big Dick Dick Vermeil?
right?
Okay,
I'm
sure.
sure like you can't really, with Pelp going down, you don't want to touch those in a good way.
Okay, Chad just said she's not hyperspace, Jake.
She's not. Okay, I will
Okay.
stop looking then.
There it is,
Thank
right
you,
there.
chat.
It says
Appreciate it.
But regardless, a good card. Fifth Brother going down to 9. I think a card that might be used going forward, especially in extended, being able to convert crits.
And now that Gunner is on the Phantoms,
Yep.
I do want to
You
point
probably
out it's interesting to see some of these Force, Crew, and Gunner go below 10.
yeah. Well, they're playing with the knobs. They were never used before.
Yep. I'm just pointing it out. It's interesting that Force being reduced below that 10 threshold when, I mean, we know Force is pretty good, so being able to slap Force on something with either Crew or Gunner for less than 10 points, I think it makes both of those good options.
And the Shuttle and Decimator titles both going from 6 to 4.
Yep.
I know that the Shuttle's title's good, so I mean that's only going to help the Shuttle become even better. The Decimator title probably needed, just to give the Decimator a little bit more of a nudge, maybe. Next up is Scum.
Yep. Moving on to Scum.
I was a little surprised to see this, that all the IGs went down in cost. I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, they're still not in hyperspace, right?
No, they're
Correct.
not.
So, who cares?
Sorry. We're just on the same wavelength, and I think for good reasons.
All right. So for the Y-Wings, they, I think, did this correctly. They increased the 2 named ones, which should be increased, and they decreased the 2 non-named ones, which probably should be decreased.
Yeah. So at either 31 or 33, do we see Thug Life come back?
I mean, with that new BTLA style play, maybe, but it'll
Ion
just never be the
turrets.
same Thug Life without that twin laser turret, so probably not. And I'm okay with that not ever coming back.
Yeah.
All the escape crafts except for the auto drone go up.
Yeah. So jumping back just before that,
So the
though.
auto drone can't do a damn thing.
No, I can't. Well, I can for what, 3 turns?
It can blow up. It can blow up.
Yeah.
Moving
It's
back
a
to
blocker.
the YT for Scum, are you guys? Is it interesting that they didn't go up?
I'm a little disappointed that the YTs did not go up by at least 1 or 2 points, especially on Han and Lando.
Yeah.
Mostly Han.
I have
I
to.
think I'm just happy they didn't go down.
Oh,
Well, I don't think anyone thought they were really going to go down, did they?
No,
Yeah,
I
well,
was
it's
actually
not what I think. It's what FFG thought, and that's where I don't place bets.
yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
I think we've got Luke Carrington in the chat tonight. Hey Luke, how's it going? Glad you could join us.
I have my trophy back there that I won this weekend. Luke painted in the case.
Yeah, in person that thing is beautiful. Looks great.
Yep, it went right in the trophy case.
So speaking of fire spray, Boba went up by 6.
Mm-hmm.
Only
No
6?
complaints.
Only 6?
Well, I think you'll see later on some other things went up, which makes this okay.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, you know, the iconic Boba Fett in the fire spray, I'm okay if it doesn't go up too much because it's nice to see it on the table when you never saw it in like the latter half of first edition. So to keep some of those iconic ships on the table, I think is okay.
Well, and I saw 3 of them in one of my games this weekend, and that's a lot of hit points.
Yeah. Oh, it sure is.
Gosh. And they're always shooting at you.
Yep. G1A, Zuckus and the Gan Feinsman both come down a little bit.
Seems
Sure.
good. They both don't see play. I'm actually surprised Forlom didn't go like up a point or two because we see him a lot. But I suppose advanced sensors went up, which he always used.
Yep.
So that I'm okay with it.
Yeah, a good balance there.
Mm-hmm. We see the 2 annoying Hawks went up in price, and the one that never gets played go down in price.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, this one's for Carson because Paylab's not broken. He's not going to go up in cost.
Well, I mean, it's only 2 points. It's not a
Yeah.
lot, but maybe just enough.
Well, the Moldy Crow is the big slap in the face to Paylab, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, absolutely.
So this scares me. I have a little bit of PTSD seeing all the jump masters go down in cost.
I'm okay with that.
Especially
I like
Tell.
flying the
Tell
jumps.
goes down by 10.
Oh yeah, Tell's coming back, which is how Tell works. But
So I'd like to point out, Walker, that a moment ago, Luke said that this is actually really good X-Wing content. I think you just dropped us down a notch with that pun.
I'm actually thinking that was that's the best moment so far tonight.
Oh. Moving on, Lancer class pursuit craft. They're all coming
Yes.
down.
They were all too expensive. A really aggressive drop with Asajj. Maybe they're realizing when you only have 2 force and you can't regain extra, it's not as good as they thought.
Yep. Walker, I guess maybe you're right. We just got Luke to sub. Thank you, Luke. We really do appreciate that. Please, I hope it wasn't for Walker's bad puns and it was for the content. But thank you regardless. We really appreciate that.
The timing is everything.
Well, he is here for a reason, and it's not his X-Wing commentary.
It is not. Then again, I think the only time I played Luke in X-Wing, I think he was drinking wine out of a can. I'm not gonna lie. So
That's a thing?
I don't know where he falls on this category, but
Oh, that's great.
All the M3s go down in cost. Yes, I still have yet to see an M3 Interceptor in 2nd edition on the board.
Yeah, I
ever.
haven't either.
So I seem to be okay with that.
Yep.
Seavor, yeah, that's right.
The
You
one-
go up in cost.
The one that really needed it. But 2 points, is that even enough?
I mean, I think it probably is. It's a TIE fighter, so you don't want to make it too expensive.
Sure.
But he's so annoying.
Oh, he has a really good ability. I mean, just solid. And yeah, he needed to go up, and thank goodness he did.
So is Hagwood crying right now watching these tugs all go up in cost? I hope he is.
No,
'cause I'm
he's
not.
only crying because the Jakku Gunrunner went up.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he cared about the other ones. Because
I like that the Jakku Gunrunner went up by the most.
yeah.
Get wrecked, Will.
They were annoying. I mean, maybe tough to play just being a little, fragile, but the low initiative on those, that's what you wanted for them. So go up.
Yep.
Go up some more.
So I'm surprised that I'm saying this, but I'm happy to see the Skirks go down in cost and get a gunner slot.
That's interesting.
That is interesting, isn't it?
It is, because I was looking at Nim for a little while because I liked Rebel Nim from first edition because I thought he had a very interesting ability.
Yeah, he
let's
made
not
fun,
talk about
interesting decisions.
Yeah, let's not talk about trajectory with him. But his ability was interesting because you could use his ability to hold a bomb and effectively cut off a lane. And now that the Scum Nim has the same ability, I'm glad to see it come down because I was looking at that pre-points change, and I think there could be something there.
I wonder if you start to see like a Han Gunner on Nim and you start to see the focus target lock style Skirk play.
Sure.
I mean, if they're going to nerf trajectory like they did, it does need something to help it stand out. So I think adding a slot like this is really interesting.
Well, and if you do see something like that, it's okay because the Skirgs don't have torpedoes or missiles. So you're not.
And they don't have TLTs anymore.
Right. But I'm just saying, if you see a focus target lock shot, like that's okay for the turrets that we do have, and also because it's just a turret or a primary attack, you're not having to worry about the focus target locked munition.
Right. Guri goes up by 1 point. I'm not sad to see that either. She's really good.
I don't know if it really affects that much, but
No, but advanced sensors does.
The advanced sensors does.
Yep.
But I think this also shows that at least the bar that FFG is looking to show people of that power level, they feel that the Star Vipers are pretty close to that bar, at least the way they're costed currently. So, I mean, this is a little telling that they're saying, okay, Guri clearly is above the bar, but the other ones they think may have a place around where they're at. So we'll see.
Cod Steaks, thank you very much for subbing. Appreciate that. That is awesome.
Hype.
We got to get those animations now.
Yeah.
This is like the one episode where animation showing on screen would be okay, and you're dropping the ball.
I know. I came up with this just today so we could do this show and didn't put any of those in. I'm regretting it now. But thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, to everyone that's enjoying it, we are going to continue doing the commentaries and the debriefings like we have, but we've also talked about some ideas for other shows and stuff. So if people really like our banter and our conversations and what we're doing, if you guys keep subbing and keep saying that you want it, then we can keep making new and other content. So that's cool. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. It definitely helps. And just to point out for you guys, Cod Steaks is one of our locals. So thank you. Appreciate that, Khalil. Moving on from, did we touch on the YV666? They all went down?
No.
They all went down.
Lost.
And interestingly enough, Jabba takes up too much space on them now. If he is the crew, he is the only crew because they lost the third crew slot.
Yep.
But they gain a gunner, which is interesting because that has never really been a combo that they could do. So I wonder if we'll actually start to see some YV666 now that there's gunners.
It's interesting, but again, it's still going to be an alpha ship.
Yeah.
Will it?
Because if anyone can get behind him, it's just toast.
True.
And that's always. I love Bosk. I mean, I would bring back Bosk in a heartbeat.
He's cheaper.
But I mean, I like him as a character. Like that's why I always wanted to try to play him. But at the same time, it's just anything gets you fly Poe, you get him behind me.
How does that go, Walker? Can you
by 1,000 cuts.
Can you remind me how that goes when you get Poe behind Bosk?
I blacked out for most of 2016.
Oh.
So this is interesting. Genius went from 0 to 2 points. We've never seen Genius cost a point ever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was he being played before?
I don't think so.
Huh.
I don't
It'll be
remember
interesting to
seeing
see.
Genius on anything. I mean,
Okay.
not to say that there isn't an edge case where somebody was using Genius, because it's possible, but not anything that I recall for like top cuts or anything.
I wonder if maybe we'll see Nim use him.
Mhm.
Maybe.
Yeah, probably.
We already touched on the 000. Forlom going down a point from 3 to 2. I mean, I still have PTSD from when Forlom was running rampant on the party bus.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But I haven't seen him in second edition yet, so I saw him one time. Didn't what's his name up in Duluth? I can't remember his name. Tony.
Oh.
Tony used to run him
Yep.
on a Hawk, didn't he? Yeah. Well, that was annoying because he'd be like, "Oh, I'll just keep ioning every turn and shoot you." So okay, and then Sakatro, sure, go ahead, drop him to 1 point.
So talking about Genius, Cod Stakes is saying that Simeon won an early second edition event with Nim and Genius.
Okay, I didn't know he did.
Yeah, I didn't know about that either. Thank you for pointing that out to us. I might have
mean-
to take a look at what he was running, because now that,
If there's any, yeah, go ahead.
just saying, now that Nim went down a little bit, I mean, even though Genius went up, there definitely could be something there.
Well, and if anybody's going to use Genius, it's probably Nim, right?
Yeah.
It makes the most sense, at least.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. Maul, we already talked about. Zuckus went from 3 to 2 points.
Did you talk about Visago?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
we said
Went up
I
a
said
point, yeah.
whatever. Zuckus, gee, I don't know, some more PTSD from Worlds.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to see that card again.
Chaba.
Jabba from 8 to 6, sure.
Y-
I never saw Jabba either.
No, I don't think you.
We all know what we were all gunning towards.
Oh, I hadn't seen this one yet. Han went from 4 to 12.
Oh.
Yep.
I to say I'm happy would be an understatement.
I don't feel bad at all.
No.
No,
Oh.
and it was way too good at 4 to be able to decide when you engage that you want to stress to get a focus, or I mean, let's be honest, that 4 was actually 14, right? Because you always paired it with perceptive. But now to be 20 points to do the same thing, yes, please. I'm
You know,
happy.
I could see a 4-point Han on a YV666, but not a not Boba Fett in your face with all his blue maneuvers
Yeah.
running around.
Yeah.
Yep.
Luke points out, yeah, Han was abusive, and I think it was Han was
And
getting
that's why he and Leia
abused.
split up in The Force Awakens.
Jeez. The IG 2000 title going from 2 to 1 points. I thought this was free.
It was in first, right? It was free.
Right.
I just assumed it was for free in second edition.
Well, now it's as close to free as you can get.
Yeah.
And then we get to see FFG say, please run anything but Marauder on your...
Yeah, no kidding. Marauder gets doubled and everything else gets dropped down.
on
Yeah,
your fire spray. Just straight up like, please, anything else.
Slave 1 is actually really interesting at 2 points.
yeah. It's just before when it was 5 and Marauder was 3. Like, why would you ever use it?
Right.
Never, yes.
Yeah. And
We already covered Crow, so that's the end of that one. So we could jump to Resistance.
yep.
And this will be quick.
Yeah. Apparently FFG wants us to buy more Star Fortresses. They all went down.
Which I just bought a second one, so
Nice.
I'm sorry.
I had an
I own
idea.
one.
I actually didn't like the idea. I bought 2, sold one to somebody, and now rebought a second one. So I'm very indecisive.
I don't know that you'll ever see 2 on the board, but okay.
Maybe I'll make it happen.
1 is seeing quite a bit of play with like 2 aces and a Star Fortress. Yeah,
But that was using trajectory too.
Ah.
sure.
That's how I was using it. I think Morgan had a list at one point that used it too.
Yep.
Well, you know how we like Morgan.
Hey,
Oh, we just got another one.
Humpty Dumpty, thank you very much for the Prime sub. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Apparently, we're gonna have to do more shows, Jake.
I think this is what they want. Give the people what they want.
All right.
Speaking of
The only other change.
giving people what they want, yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
the only other change was they gave the blue squadron recruit a talent, which now means I don't have to use the green. Yes.
Yep. And you can save 2 points and still get a talent.
Yep.
And we discussed this before we went live, but the BB.
Oh yeah, the BB changes.
Yep.
I forgot
So
about that.
we'll go down
the
to
BB
that.
Astromech and the BB-8 both now scale based on initiative, but BB-8 still costs 8 when Poe is using him, which is, let's be honest, what really matters.
And yes, I did sell my Star Fortress to Humpty Dumpty. So
Although,
So wait,
something
Walker, so who
interesting-
is that?
that's Jared.
Oh, Jared. Awesome. Thank you. That makes me even happier now.
Right.
One other thing to point out, a BB Astromech is now free on the lowest pilot skill T-70s. That's kind of interesting, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's really good.
Hey, Blair would be happy.
Yep.
All right, let's move to First Order. I know there's at least one corpse in this list.
You're talking about Null losing the talent slot, right?
Well, okay, maybe 2 corpses, because Null losing the talent slot is definitely one, but so is Kylo losing supernatural reflexes.
Okay.
Like they
Yes.
said, Kylo plus Supernatural is 100 points. Just those 2.
Or I guess I could say Kylo losing his bid,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Also losing his mod.
Yep.
All of them losing their mods.
Yeah.
What were people putting on the mods before? Or did they just want to take away primed? Or not primed, afterburners.
I think
Probably.
it's the synergy between their ability where they can do the red maneuver and then
Wasn't it just the same as Interceptor's ability?
It is. It's auto thrusters.
Yeah.
right. But you
So
can do the auto thrusters with primed.
I think this is good, and I mean you can speak to this, Walker, because you played the other silencers and you were pretty disappointed, right?
I was disappointed because I just played. I was running first order test pilots that are at pilot skill 4, and everyone I played had resistance, so they were running 5s and 6s. So there was just no outmaneuvering anybody. And I don't know if you've noticed, but these ships need to outmaneuver people because
It'd
they're
be a
not just going to
shame
take
if they
the
didn't
shots.
have an Initiative 6 pilot.
They don't.
I know.
It would be a shame. Hey,
It would
but
be
you know
such
what?
a shame.
They talk about Kylo being a great pilot, and they're like, yeah, but nah.
He's just a whiny baby.
Look at it this way, though. With Kylo only being a 5, he's only paying 24 points for Supernatural.
It's true. I bet if they made him a 6, he'd go from 76 to 90.
Let's see. Was there anything? No other changes? I don't think for First Order there.
Nope, that was it. Just
No.
Null losing the talent. So let's be real though. So they
That
really
was less about Null and more about it's tough to scale it for his 07 point
Yeah,
change.
I think that's why they did it, because I was going to say they kind of already butchered the Null squad leader mechanic, but I think people could try to manipulate it like you talked about, where it comes in at a 0, so it costs nothing for squad leader initially, and then his ability kicks in, and then on paper that doesn't affect the list building process. I bet you that's why we saw this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it had anything to do with really about Null as much as it was we wanted squad leader to scale, and Null didn't really fit that. So,
Right.
because I mean, it's not like the First Order Null was overpowered or that First Order was just crushing it because of Null. He was cute, I guess.
Yeah.
He wasn't oppressive.
So chat's just asking a question, and we will get to that. I promise.
I mean, we can move right to it right now if you want.
Well,
Yeah, we can.
one more thing from chat. Luke, OCX pregame show, was asking. He requested that our subscriber emote change. He doesn't like the boob nipple gun apparently, and
Good.
wants the T-47.
I'm not the only one. Good.
That makes
What?
two of you. That
Your stupid titty cannon can go away.
that only makes
It's a
two
boob,
of you
it's a
though.
boob nipple gun, and you know it.
Whatever. It's terrible. Luke, I suggested a tauntaun. I suggested ideas with like people inside the tauntaun. I really pushed for a tauntaun, and they wouldn't give it to me.
Yeah, well, you were outvoted. That's
True.
how it works. And since I'm the one that controls it, my vote counts more anyway.
I also suggested a wampa. Yes.
Yeah.
But again, that got turned down.
Well, see,
they
so
wanted their stupid boob nipple gun.
but you bring up a good point, Kevin. We can do some of those things with acrylic, maybe.
Yeah, we did. We do have some ideas with that too.
We do. You might see some Echo Base X-Wing acrylic out there. We might be working on something. So back to what Carlo is asking. Triple Upsilons. Why did we not see points increases?
Because FFG loves to make mistakes.
No, they love to sell expensive ships.
But they're cheap on Amazon right now.
They are
Wasn't that
$14
why
bucks.
So many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, E-wings are like $9 right now.
I don't know why we didn't see them go up. I mean, it's in the name, right? Upsilon. We really should see them go up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so we saw advanced sensors go up a little bit. We saw collision detector go up a little bit, but not enough.
No.
God, Walker.
You're distracting him. Keep doing it.
Sorry. Content.
But yeah, triple Upsilon. I mean, if it continues to do what Dash kind of was doing, we may see an emergency change that they talked about, the ability to also make emergency changes.
Yeah.
And there's a strong chance, I think, by April, if it's really, really bad, then they will probably put a stomp down on it right away. But
Well,
I mean,
and
Jake,
you're
you can tell us how much fun it was to play against.
I mean, 20-minute games are fun when you're the one winning a 20-minute game, and they're absolutely terrible for anyone else. Absolutely. They got rid of the Dash Rourke with Han because
but it still took a month to do that.
it did. Okay, but to my point, they didn't like that Dash was shooting 4 dice twice. Why is it
Sometimes
okay?
5.
Sometimes 5, right? Why is it okay for the Upsilon, the triple Upsilon list, to be doing that 3 times? What? Because it's a lower
and do it
initiative?
turn 1.
Yeah.
All right, so here's what we gotta do. Come March, Adepticon, you'll be
No,
there.
I'm not-
All
I'm not
3 of
bringing
us
it
will
to
be
Adepticon.
there.
I'm not playing an Adepticon.
Jared will be there. Luke will be there. We all just bring it oppressively and just make
There
FGG
you go.
hate themselves. I mean, they've already banned Loop and Chewie.
So did,
Wait, what? They banned it?
No.
hold on.
Okay, I was gonna
But
say.
that was Adepticon too, where let's just fly to the edge and
So wait, Luke
Luke.
Luke did ask an interesting question though. He said, "So YV is bad because it's easy to outmaneuver, but Upsilon is good." It's good because you can do it turn 1, and there's 3
Right.
of them. I think.
right,
And
and you can put it
coordinate.
in their face. So they don't have that chance to outmaneuver and get behind you
Yeah.
before having to take that shot right away.
And coordinate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And advanced sensors or what else? Collision detector. We see those on the triple Upsilons.
They're now jam cannons.
Yeah, and now, well, you know what? No, give them jam cannons. I'm fine with that. They're not shooting 4 dice at you. They're not doing damage. Give it to them.
That's right. Doesn't jam fall off at the end of the turn?
Yeah,
It doesn't persist anymore unless you have an ISB agent or whatever.
right.
Oh, for a second I thought you meant the cannon. And I was like, that's a weird mechanism. Like use it once, it falls off like a gecko's tail.
It's not a banana. You don't just peel it and throw it away.
Yeah.
God, if that was the way it happened, I'd have to come up with a cute little phrase for that rhymes.
I mean, and also to that same point about the YV versus the Upsilon, I mean,
Flop it and drop it.
You're
Go on.
not seeing. They don't have 4 dice, so
Flop it and drop it. Jeez.
oh
Oh my god.
yeah. All
Sorry.
right.
Yeah, Carlo is correct. Hyperspace should have gone up. Hyperspace shouldn't be so cheap.
Yeah,
It's-
and that's probably the crux of the issue, right? Is that you can set them all at 6, and 2 of them can be set out at range 2 from the first one, and if they go 3 forward, and because they're setting up at I6, if you have anything less than I6s, they're going to see where your ships are set up. Then they can set up straight across from them. If they have collision detector, they just go right over the rocks. They ignore them. And turn 1, you're going to lose a ship because they're coming in with, what is it, double focus, evade, and a target lock? Pretty sure.
Well, and this is in first edition Epic, which I know not everybody played, but this was one of the like main pieces of the 2 pieces to our Epic list we had.
Yeah.
Was we would put it was Jared Oopsilons right in your face and just kill off your aces.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because you only have so much board to set up, and those things are right there.
Yeah. I mean, is the list so dominant that you just can't beat it? No. Like, you can beat it. But the fact is that a below average player going into a tournament where somebody is playing the triple upsilons, they are going to hate the game.
Well, it's a little bit like Ghost Fen too. It's
Yeah.
not a high bar to run it.
Right. It's
So
oppressive.
there are going to be players who are not good. They're going to run it, think they're good. I can't remember the name, but Zach Matthews was talking about some player saying he's really good, but he hasn't been good with Manaroo. And it's like, well, then he wasn't probably very good. He was able to run Manaroo, and then once
Yep.
Manaroo fell off, he fell off. So I mean, it's not. Yeah. So it's gonna be something that someone who has never really played can jump in and play it, but
Yeah.
it's
Right,
not
but-
good for the game. It doesn't make you better.
But the good players with Manaroo made top 16 at Worlds after the nerf. I just want to point that out. So the other issue too is you have the dash effect, right? Dash doesn't technically win everything, but he constricts list building
Yep.
because of what he does to so many of the lists and so many of the different ships out there.
Yeah.
And this will absolutely do the same thing.
Right. It's
And what people
oppressive.
also don't understand is even after the first pass, it takes so long to kill those stupid ships because of reinforce and their agility, and they're always having tokens that you just run out of time. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people forget about.
Well, and so when I played it this last weekend, I'm flying 3-ship resistance, and when you lose a ship turn 1, that means you don't have enough firepower to even be able to chew through them in 75 minutes. Like, even if you can somehow manage to get both of your ships or your remaining ships behind them, you're starting the game off at a disadvantage, and it's hard to come back from.
And that's always been the problem with the Alpha Strike is after one round you can be, in this case, 200 points against their 135 because you just took off 65 points.
Yep.
And they didn't even have a chance to use it.
Yeah. To answer your question, Jared, no. I think if you line up right on your board edge, facing what would be like your left, right, and then you just like took off really fast, 3, 4, 5 speed, depending on what you're flying, then I don't think they can get you. But I mean, you're talking about less than a base length is what you have in between their range, getting a range 3 shot. Jeez.
We may or may not have been slamming you, Jay.
Yeah, I know. I'm reading it. There's nothing new there, but I mean, it's on the Minox. You call me an ace, so
It's true.
Yep, Jake Farrell sure used to be an ace.
You even said.
No, you
Hard
said
to believe.
Jake.
So we've covered all the points changes. Clearly, there's going to be a lot of different stuff going on. Is there anything that chat wants to ask us before we call it a night?
Yeah, let's open it up for you guys. Just questions about the points changes, probably not about personal things that you guys want to ask Kevin.
Nothing yet.
What do we decide with points changes? It's every 6 months they're going to be doing it, probably.
Yeah, it's every 6. So we're going to get it January and July every year.
Okay.
Okay, so Carlo's asking if we talked about advanced sensors and why it's flat cost rather than scaled to initiative.
Honestly, it probably should be scaled to initiative. I wonder if they just didn't think of it yet.
Yeah, and yeah, that could be. Maybe they thought for right now just give it a flat increase because it does give any ship that little bit of a benefit to be able to take an action if you know you're going to bump. So just a flat cost for now and maybe later on.
So they're asking if Super Ashel's going to see use. Maybe if it does sparsely, but for the most part, I just don't see it being used until Republic comes out. Then I guess you could use the Jedi Starfighters as like crazy good blockers.
Mm-hmm.
But on high initiative ace ships like it used to be used, no, I don't think you'll see it used much anymore. I mean, some people are going to be like, oh, I'm going to use Kylo and Tabson and I'm just going to bid, whatever I have left. Okay, fine, but it's not going to win.
Yeah.
I like the question of what list made it through, especially with Khalil's comment of his did, but also that list sucked. And we talked about that with the Phoenix System Open, that not many of those lists are going to be legal. Like the top list, none of them are under 200 anymore.
Yeah.
Yep. I did see, I remember way back when I first played second edition, one of the Frechette brothers was running like Barons of the Empire with one of the missiles, and it wasn't bad because they would take the target lock and they would have the force to fall back on for like the double mods, kind of like Luke used to use. I think the issue with the Barons is that missiles suck and they can only use missiles.
Let's see what else. B-wings. They're asking about B-wings. Did they shave enough points off to make them viable? I know locally there's a few people that have been seeing some success with Num and what's the other top one? The 2 stress ones. And they're tanky. So shaving a few points off, I think maybe. I don't know if it's necessarily top tier, but I mean it could push them into that like tier 1.5 maybe.
Okay, so a bunch of questions. So trick shot, I think 2 is a good spot for it, and I think what they're going to do is say, all right, is it still abusive right here at 2? If it's abusive, they'll go to 3, but I don't think it'll ever go above 3. I think it'll probably hold tight around 2.
No, without it like taking away your extra green dice or something, there's no reason it's going to go higher. Like it's not that abusive.
It's a conditional situation. Yes, the A-Wings can use it effectively. So can fire sprays. But fire sprays cost a lot, so you can't get that many of them. And A-Wings are only 2 dice ships. I still feel like it's really conditional, so I think 2 is a really good spot for it. And I think it won't go to 3.
Yeah. They're also asking what we might experiment with given some of the points changes.
Lando.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about Rebel Han pre-points change, just with the idea that he probably was going to go down. I think the only reason why I might still stay away from that is 2 ship lists are still very weak in the meta.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can find something with that to increase his survivability, then maybe. It's definitely worth looking at. Walker, anything you thinking about?
I always want to play around with Lando more. I'd like to see. I actually, if I'm going to experiment, Jump Master maybe. See if it's effective at its lower. I don't think it's going to be. I still don't. But I want to put it on the table.
It depends. So if Triple Upsilons does not get changed, I can't really experiment with much because they'll kill everything that's not fast and can't double reposition.
Yep.
But if they do fix it, I actually would put a Y-Wing on the board, believe it or not. The BTLA kind of idea with the Y-Wings is really interesting. I think some kind of like a rebel, not necessarily fortress, but like a rebel moving squad like that could be really interesting, at least to play with, because I've never played anything like that before. I think I'll be helping my son come up with a scum squad. He really enjoys Fen and Old T, so I'm gonna try to help figure out what that third ship needs to be.
Talonbane Cobra.
Yeah, no, no, it won't be him.
Farmer would be proud.
So I think my experimenting is probably going to revolve more around what do I need to tweak slightly in my list that I'm running with, but I'm probably sticking with Poe and the A-Wings, and then helping my son figure out what he likes to play and what list he wants to play, which apparently right now he really likes the Fangs. So probably experimenting with Scum.
Khalil's asking if we think there will be any hot fixes like Triple Upsilons. If it becomes a problem, I think we could see something. But
I do really think Adepticon is going to be the first big test that they're. I mean, that might be the nail in the coffin for it. If it, you know what I mean, like that's a good halfway point between now and July. That if they think it's a problem.
How do you know? Have you guys looked at the hyperspace trial list? Is there a bunch of them prior to Adepticon that maybe they could get some data with?
I haven't looked. So I just... he's not watching, so he won't care. So Dugan just messaged me and said after the points change that BB-8 is starting to look really interesting. And I said, why? Because he's the right answer? I just want to point that out, that R4 is not the right answer again.
Carlo said we got one in Toronto in late February. So no, there are no big system opens.
So actually, here's where you could get some data, Crate Cup. Because that's at the end of February before Adepticon, and it's going to be hyperspace only, and you'll have the top 50 invite players there. So
I think...
we're going to get games from that event, and I'm thinking someone's streaming. I don't know. I'm guessing Dion's probably going. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you'll get some data from that.
Okay, but that's us. Will FFG actually look at anything that says crate?
I mean, if it's data, it's still data.
Well,
right?
I mean, I would hope so, because while they can be somewhat offensive sometimes, the crates have really good, a really good foothold on what the meta does, and they have they have a really good perspective.
We still don't have floor rules, but that's cool.
Yeah, well. We'll keep trying, right, Zach?
They have perspective, but not influence.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Don't see too many other things in the chat as far as questions.
So it is top 50 from the 1.0, but we all have to play second edition hyperspace rules. And I mean, at least half of the players are still good players.
Yeah.
Some of them made it with Ghost Fen, some of them made it with Nim Miranda, but there's a couple of good names. Like, you know, I've heard of Nathan, I've heard of Duncan. I don't know that Zach Matthews is good anymore. I heard he just plays L5R. But there'll be a couple of us that are good.
Okay, couple question from Carlo there. Why did homing missiles get bumped up? Was it really a problem? Kevin, you and I talked about this on Saturday for a little while. I thought homing missiles are interesting because they provide your opponent a choice, and whether they want to risk taking multiple damage. I think homing missiles are best used on aces, or versus aces, I should say, because of that.
Yeah, versus aces. Yep.
But I guess I don't know for sure why it would have got bumped up, other than, we did comment earlier on maybe they're looking at future-proofing them. Maybe there's something coming out.
I think it has something to do with the Separatists. They didn't want too many homing missiles coming in one round or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that there's some of these things that we couldn't describe that'll make sense later.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if we have anything else to add to the points changes?
Nope. I just want to point out some more that Dugan's continuing to message me telling me I'm correct. Correct about trick shot, correct about BB-8. Almost like I know what I'm talking about.
It's so weird that when Dugan says something, you don't agree with him, but when he agrees with you, then all of a sudden, credibility.
Well, not to poke too hard at Carson, but after what we saw at the System Open this weekend, at least his game on stream, I don't know how much viability that Radio TCX has anymore. So maybe you're right, Walker. Maybe I shouldn't care.
Well, I mean, they can pull a page out of the Minox book. Carson does have an invite to Worlds, doesn't he?
Oh, I'll be getting one. Don't worry.
Confidence.
Yes. After this weekend, yes.
A couple more questions coming in from chat. Is Y-Wing Nora a steal or just fairly priced?
The Y-Wing one?
Yeah, I'm going back
went
to.
down by a point.
No, 2 points. 43 to 41.
Was it 2?
Yeah. So I think Nora in the Y-Wing is harder to use because you don't get the amount of movement that the medium base provides you. So I'm going to say fairly priced. I think 41 is fair.
Probably. I mean, we'll see now with Ion Turret, right? Because she'll probably try to use Ion Turret and just hug people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. Can people leverage it or not is the real question.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she's probably fine.
Yeah, I think 41 is good. I mean, I think at 43 she was priced appropriately, and you're just getting a little bit of a discount now, and that's good.
Yeah.
Kanan, let's see, chat, Vato Dev, Kanan has FCS now. Magva, Kanan for the win. Yeah, I'm glad that the VCX has gotten the sensor slot back.
It sure needed FCS, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I could see Magva FCS on any of the ghosts, really.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not high initiative, except maybe Hera, but I don't think Hera's going to see any play.
Yep. Well, the nice thing with Kanan is you can for your action, you can reinforce, and then you still have the 2 force for dice mods. And FCS once that triggers.
Yep, I think Kanan's the one that's probably going to be playable, maybe.
Yep. I mean, he is still 84 points base, so he's going to be expensive, but yeah, I think there might be something there worth looking into.
Maybe.
Again, the downside there is you're probably playing a 2-ship list. I don't know if you can really, sneak 3 in, so that's a downside. But if we get to a point in the meta where 2 ships become viable again, then it might be worth looking at.
Yep.
All right.
I think that's about everything.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for coming and watching tonight. And for those of you that subbed tonight, thank you very much. We really do appreciate it. It'll help keep this thing going and bring some new and interesting things in the future.
Thanks.
Yep. Yeah, we'll have to start working on some of our other ideas now since we're getting some feedback.
Yeah, and maybe make this type of a show a little more regular. Seems like we got some pretty good reception from this one.
It means we might have to record. Well, that's gambly, but
Yeah.
we might have to record the call to or the drive to Adepticon.
Oh no, that's going to happen. That is
Oh, my
going to
God.
happen. All right, everybody. Thank you for checking out Echo Base X-Wing. That's all for tonight. Have a good one.